Hi, I'm Brian Crosser, Development Consultant for Ektelon. I'm here today to continue the series of racket stringing videos to help you better understand the power ring technology and how to properly string it. I have the Tour Lite TI in my hands that has the power ring technology, as well as the O3 Blue that's mounted here on the stringer, which we will go to details on how to string here in a moment. The power ring technology was introduced in 1995, which revolutionized the industry and was a big surge, which started the elongating the mains that you have seen in many other rackets such as the DPR. It is an inverted ring that gives you that optimal power to go down towards the throat to extend the mains, but at the same time it's tightly woven to help give you the control that you need. Let's get started in how to actually string the racket properly. First, I have mounted the racket on properly with our preferred type, the 6 and 12 o'clock mounting system. As you can tell down here, we have opened the throat up to give us the most amount of room to properly string it. Now the trick to stringing this power ring racket is on one side you always want to go under and come back up. The other side you want to go over and come back down. Now that we're getting started, I want to look at the racket and figure out what the recommended tension is. 30 plus or minus 4 pounds. I'm going to go at 30 pounds to make sure that we're in the recommended range. We're going to start from the top of the racket. In this case, I am going to allow the right side of the frame to be the under and the left side of the frame to be over. In other words, from your view, the right side of the frame will be overs and the left side will be unders. So here we go. Starting from the top, going around the O port, going underneath, again on the right side of the left side of the frame for you, right side for me. Going down and coming back up. Now to get properly started, we need to get both sides strung up. So we will go down, hole number 1, right side at the top, coming underneath, going up and over and back down through. Now what I would recommend is to make sure you have an equal amount of length on both sides. I'm going to do the old scientific measuring system. Got a little over 6 feet and a little over 6 feet. Now we can tension one side. I would like to start on the left today. We're going to tension and clamp at the recommended string tension. All right, and clamp. Now we can get the other side. Again, making sure that it's the top-down approach. All right. Okay, so as you can see, this main on the left side of the racket went underneath the power ring, up and around, back up to the top of the throat. Now we're going to start on the other side. We went down, over, and back up. Let's continue that pattern. Down through the O port on the top, going above the ring, and circling back down. Now to make sure you have enough room, you want to layer them side by side. Here is a common mistake I just did. The right side is supposed to be on the bottom. Here is how you can tell I made a mistake. This is a very common mistake that can be made. You can see here that the two mains are side by side. You want one down, one up, one under, one up. In other words, let's repeat that. You want one down, one up, one down, one up. I have it one down, one up, one up. So let's properly fix that. Okay. Now we want to go under on the left side and back over. Okay, now we'll tension and clamp. Okay, moving on to the other side, we want to keep even pressure on both sides of the racket, which is why we're alternating sides. So we're going to go down from the top again. Now because the other side I was going from the bottom, this side I want to go from the top. Now we want to make sure that they didn't overlap each other. If we did, it would look something like this. We do not want them to cross. Tension and clamp. I always have the awl ready just to make sure that they're lined up properly. Okay. Alternating to the other side. Now this is a shared hole, which Ektelon has a patent on a shared grommet. As you can see here, there is a grommet here. One is for the top and one is for the cross, which makes it much more easier to string. Let's go back in. This is the left side. We don't want to make the same mistake as last time. Go underneath, up and around. Coming back up to the top to the shared hole. Making sure that they're not overlapping. Tension and clamp. Back over to the left. Coming from the top down this time. Into the shared hole. And the reason I know this is a main, Ektelon does a great job, as you can see here, putting a dot where the main locations are in those grommets. Also, you can see when we do the crosses, it says short side here. This will tell us which side we need to start on to do the crosses. We will refer to that short side here in a minute. All right, we are on our last set of mains, going back to the other side. Again, we're looking for the dot. Coming through from underneath, back up and around. To the dot location. Now you can go to ektelon.com to get the proper stringing instructions so you know which hole to put the string in, but for the sake of time, I'm just trying to speed through this. What I really want you to get out of this is the proper layering on the left and right side on how to properly string it. So let's finish here by doing a finishing knot. And how I can tell the proper spot for a finishing knot is it will say here on the racket, main tie off. There's a big M for main tie off. We can come around here, come through and properly tie off the knot. One thing I would recommend when tying off the knot is increasing the tension, and over here we have a little button for tie off knot to make it so that we can increase the tension automatically. We'll tie off real quickly. Now let's move on to the other side to finish it off. Now the ideal string for this DPR line of rackets, I would say, is the Ektelon Lightning. But I am stringing this up for myself to go play here in a little bit, and I prefer the Premier Power, but the ideal string for this would be the Ektelon Lightning string, which will get you the best results. But again, it's just a preference. Now this last one, because it was the right side of the racket, we wanted to go above and back underneath, so you can see that they are properly layered down here. Tension and clamp. Now I'm looking for the main tie off. Put the string through and tie the racket off. Okay, now that the mains are done, I want to cut this excess off so it's not in the way, so we can start the crosses. And the main reason I want to show you how to start the crosses is on this 03 racket, when you start the crosses on this racket, especially with the O ports, you want to make sure and start the opposite side where it says short side. So we would weave the proper way, and if there is an odd number of crosses, you want to go a hard weave. If there is an even number of crosses, you want to make sure and do a soft weave. The reason is, a soft weave would go through. See how easy it was to go right through? That created an over, under pattern. Now, a hard weave, I would actually have to go through and hard weave against how the strings are stacked. And in doing the hard weave, you can see that the strings compress down more. It goes against the grain. Thank you for tuning in today to watch the Ektelon series of stringing videos. Hopefully you've learned something on how the power ring technology will fit you best as a player. But more importantly, you stringers out there, you have a better understanding on how to properly string the racket. I'm going to get started on the crosses. Choose Ektelon and play with fire.